I remember starting the circle saying that I love math, but math doesn't love me. But now that I'm on this side of the circle, I'm learning that I can kind of own math.
After my first class, I was hooked. I really liked it.
It was more about bringing joy back into math and giving children an opportunity to try things out.
There's a huge amount of affirmation, but there's constantly a push to go deeper, or are you sure?
I went into the class, and what we learned that day with pattern blocks, I was able to in turn go into my classroom the next day and do it with my kids.
The games and different activities that were shown to us in the math circles were things that I was able to take and try the next day in my classroom.
And they had a great time. It was enjoyable. They were really focused.
There was a buzz and excitement among the kids as they took on this new challenge, and they were engaged and interested, and they were really trying to make sense of that problem and persevere through it.
We have like a repertoire now, like a whole kind of like repertoire of games that they all ask to play, and it's we're all practicing math the whole time. So
with the games, I found that I could play the same game with any student at any level, and any level of mathematical understanding, and they were still being challenged, and they still really enjoyed it.
There were times where they would kind of get stumped, and they would be turning to each other for help and not just to me, the teacher, and so that was one thing that was really great to see, is that they were learning as a community, and rather than just as worker bees.
Everything that we did the examples first, so I became a better mathematician. Like, kind of maybe my phobia about math has changed a little bit.
There has to be success in order to feel confident, and I've experienced a lot of success. And I attribute that a lot to Dan and Catherine, because they are very thoughtful and supportive guides.
you're leading us, and so we thought deeply about the mathematics behind why certain things work.
Even if they know that the answer you're saying is right, they want you to be able to articulate, well, why is it that way, and how did you get there? And they're modeling how to respond to students.
And so I really try to emulate that with my students too. I think about, what are they talking about? What do they see already, and what do they know? And then what's the next question I can ask them to make them kind of almost discover the next step on their own, and that kind of develops that little deeper understanding of it.
It's becoming more a part of me, the way that I talk to kids.
The teacher circles have given me an opportunity to do that, to find ways to help my students embrace that challenge and that problem that they're coming across, and giving them that perseverance to want to push through and understand it better.
I don't think there was one thing that I did not do. I actually did every activity that you taught us. They dig it and they love it. Computation going on, and a lot of high-level thinking skills.
Thinking about, why am I doing this? What's good for students? What are the standards? And how can I get students to reach those standards, but in a way that's interesting to them? And I thought the math circles really helps develop a lot of that.
So really giving teachers an opportunity to translate what the Common Core is saying into actual classroom activity and then assessment.
And my students remembered stuff that we'd learned back in September, October, November, things that when I was just reviewing, hey, you guys remember how to do this? They knew it, they showed mastery, they could explain why. Moving away from too much just test tricks and more into like deeper understanding, they become more flexible thinkers, and so they can problem solve. And when I pulled out those test prep materials I have, a lot of them are very complex. It's a lot of language and a lot of complex multi-step problems, and I think their thinking has become more flexible, and they're able to handle and tackle those problems a little bit better.
And it's a great way to help me as a learner, and I use these skills with my students to really grab onto the material and own it.
Maybe that sparks something for later on in their life, or something as they go into deeper math that they have, oh yeah, I understand why that works now,
I've recommended these circles to all of my classmates, and a number of them have come and taken the class and walked away raving about the teacher circles.
Every teacher in Seattle schools would benefit from this program.
I actually recommended it to everybody at the school.
I've been telling my colleagues about it.
Why aren't we doing this, Seattle?